Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. Hello and welcome to Homeschool Together as we continue our epic math week curriculum review extravaganza.
Yeah, hey, this is the last one for us. We have one tomorrow from a listener where she's going to talk about kindergarten math with confidence. But today, yes, it's the end. It's the end of our run.
It's the final countdown. So today is Good and Beautiful. Ariel, full disclaimer, go.
Okay. One, this was sent to us kindly by the Good and the Beautiful folks. So thank you for that, for our fair and honest review. So if you have not heard of the Good and the Beautiful before, it is a Christian faith-based program. They've got literature and history and some other things. This is a brand new math curriculum from them called Simply Math. Now, we are a secular podcast.
Secular homeschool.
We are. So you might be going like, why are you guys covering the Good and Beautiful? Well, so one, I've heard of the Good and Beautiful for several years as a curriculum that is popular for secular families to take and secularize and remove some of the religious elements.
And I believe there's a whole community of people who do this.
There is a community of people that do this. Secondly, I had a pretty good feeling that because this is a math curriculum, there was going to be very little religious content in it, and it might work out really well as something that we could use in a secular manner. So I requested this from the company, and they kindly sent it to us. Now, what I can tell you is it is 323 pages. In 323 pages, the word God is used once. There is a quote from Jesus, and there is a picture of Noah's Ark when we learn to count by twos.
And there's one Christmas reference.
And there's some calendar things that reference the Christmas holiday. So from that entire block, those are the only things that we found in the kindergarten curriculum that are actually religious focused.
We may have missed one or two other, but you can kind of get the picture. It's
right. So as a completely secular family, and we'll get into all the ins and outs of this, but we would feel totally comfortable using this curriculum and just taking out a couple of elements that don't fit for our family. So if you want something that's 100% secular that you do not have to make any edits to for your family, this would not be for you. But we felt it was really important to cover it because it is new. We actually just got it yesterday. It's hot off the presses.
We spent all last night looking through it.
Right. We're really excited to get it. And we, as much as we want to be totally secular, we do not want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Yep. If there's something that's really great, and guys, this is really, really good. We don't want to not tell you about it.
If it can help my child learn, I'm going to do it.
Right. Well, and we're going to tell you about it. We don't want to not say it just because it's not 100% secular, but we do want to give you the disclaimer. So that's my disclaimer. Let's get into it.
So let's talk about two of the most important concepts. Let's talk about the price first. The book that I'm holding in my hands is $25. The small manipulatives box, which is straight out of a Melissa and Doug design.
It's very cute.
Very cute. Is another $25. So you're talking about $50 for the entire curriculum, front to back. Also, the digital option is FREE free.
It's true.
And you'll notice that we do a very similar model as well in our Gumroad store. They have a philosophy that they don't want to limit people's access to their curriculum, so they offer a digital version of this curriculum for free.
Right. So grade K is not, but grades 1 through I think think it's 1 through 5.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I think it's 1 through 5 right now. Like I say, it just came out. They are offered as a free digital download, which is incredibly generous of the creator. So
Yes.
is
and most importantly, it is incredibly generous because the next point is it's absolutely the most gorgeous curriculum I've ever seen.
I don't think I've ever seen a curriculum prettier than this, you guys. I mean,
Like the artwork, you should just download it.
You got to see the flip through on their site. It's and maybe we'll try to get one up on YouTube as well. The artwork in this is so
Gorgeous
gorgeous.
watercolor paintings. Like whoever did this, and who is it? They had the woman on the page. Jenny Phillips, I think, did this. It's gorgeous.
The artwork is absolutely.
We were done.
We opened it and I was like, "Is this math?
Is this math?
This is so beautiful, for lack of a better word." So
there's literally a painting on every other page.
right. So let's talk about structure, like we talked about with all of these. What do you get?
It's 120 lessons. So if it's not broken up by chapter, where they have like a central theme and then you do a bunch of sections. It's broken up into what they call units, and each lesson, 3 lessons, is a unit. And so you can imagine there are 40 units in the whole book. At the end of that 3rd lesson, there's a review. So like a short, maybe 2 or 3 questions, kind of sums up what they did in the previous 3 lessons as kind of an evaluation. It doesn't feel like a test, just feels like maybe an exercise or 2 that they can do, and it just helps assess what they did before. So that's kind of how they structured it. So it is a spiral-based curriculum. So it does constantly review concepts that the learner's learning throughout every single lesson and all the various units. So they do spiral back. That is really great for kids who struggle at the mastery. So you do feel comfortable that you're going to come back to it and try it again. They do have that in there. That is their structure of learning.
So what you're going to get here, as Matt said, it's a single workbook. There's not a teacher guide.
It's spiral bound.
It's one spiral bound workbook that has teaching instruction in it and activities. And then there is a manipulatives box. Can we go through what's in that box? This is the only curriculum besides Right Start that has manipulatives. So
yeah, so basically it's a wooden box that has a slide out top. Now what's really cool about it is they're focusing on calendar, time, and I believe some shapes,
and then some, your basic addition,
and money,
subtraction,
I think, as well.
And money. So the front of the box actually has a clock on it that you can spin the hands and use the front of the box as a manipulative, and then you've got some tangram shapes, some money, some other
dice,
clocks.
Yeah, some counting squares.
It's an adorable little box that's
it's like a little like whatever the Japanese bento boxes.
Yeah, kind of looks like a bento box. Yeah,
very bento box.
It's very small. Yeah, that is one thing about this curriculum that I haven't seen in any of the others. A couple of the others have clocks.
Yeah.
But this is the only one I've seen that has done a big emphasis on calendar.
Yes.
Work.
And they do a lot of calendar work in the sense that you're constantly filling in like the weekly calendar, you're filling in the dates, and you're completing like, activities based on that, whether you're adding or you're doing handwriting and whatnot. So they do leverage, calendar, clocks, time, money, and shapes. That tends to be the main focus.
So is this going to be teacher driven? Is this more independent student work?
Absolutely. Closer to like a Right Start math thing. So you are meant to be here. So they give you instruction. Read this to your child. Then do this thing.
So some of it's scripted.
Yes, a little bit is scripted, but not heavily scripted. They do tell you to, okay, for example, I opened up to a random lesson 6, adding 2 and writing 17 through 20. So you're going to have them do a little bit of a warm up. You're going to sing a song. You're going to count from 80 to 100. And then you're going to read this to your child. Well, let's practice adding 2 to a number, and so they give you a little bit of a scripting, and then they tell you, okay, we'll repeat this example, 8 plus 2. Now do it for 12 plus 2, 15 plus 2, 18 plus 2. And so they're giving you additional, examples for you to do. So very similar to the kind of like a Right Start math way of teaching and whatnot, but it doesn't have as much manipulatives as, say, Right Start math.
Right. So, and in this one too, I've noticed that a lot of the lessons have some sort of a little story that's involved with. It's not it's much
It's a
of
theme, almost like a theme.
Yes, like a theme. So
like, this one's about fish, or this one's about sailing.
right, and so they'll tell a story
This one's about donkeys in the barn.
Right,
whatever it
and
may
so
be.
there's kind of a little like story element that supports the theme, and then this beautiful artwork that goes with it. So this is a highly visual and engaging curriculum.
Very engaging. It at times you wonder if you're doing math.
It feels like it almost, as I was turning pages, it almost felt like, there are those books that you can get that they're spiral bound and just have games in them, and then you can write. That's almost what it felt like. It almost feels like games.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it feels almost criminal that you're going to write on some of these things, but
it does.
It does. Now, there's not a lot of activities per page. I mean, tends to be like 1, 2, 3 type of different little activities. I do feel you would probably move through this pretty quickly.
How long do you think an average lesson? What's your time estimation if someone was going to sit down and do a lesson?
With the scripting on like the example that I gave you, you could imagine spending 10 minutes doing kind of that scripting, and then oh, Johnny, you didn't get it right. Let's work on this again. That type of thing.
Poor Johnny. He's like the one that we use in all of our reviews.
Johnny, you need to, you're got to do it again, buddy. It really feels like, you could maybe do one of the lessons in maybe 15, 20 minutes. It has that kind of feel to it, and maybe a little bit longer if you're having to repeat activities or some of the scripting elements.
It feels like, though, there's activities on the page, there's not a ton of, within each activity, there aren't a ton of problems. So it's probably not enough for you to step away.
Yes, exactly.
While your learner is working on it.
Yeah, it does feel like, they put a lot of beautiful effort into it, but like that activity may only take the learner 2 minutes to do, or less than 2 minutes to do. And that may include you explaining what to do.
Right. Some of them feel a bit fast in there, definitely.
Yeah, it does. It definitely has that. So if you're completing the activities fast, okay, well, that's great. Good job, Johnny. You've mastered, the activity, but have they mastered it? You don't know, right? So there's that.
That's where that
spiraling
comes back.
is going to come back and help you.
There's no testing component though of this.
They have the review at the end of the.
They have a review.
Yeah, every 3. But it's not a formal test, so it looks like a kind of a light review of the previous three lessons at the end of what they call the unit. But it doesn't have like a test similar to, say, like a Math Mammoth or some of the dimensions. Singapore Math has a little bit more of an evaluation there. They have kind of a review. They call it a review. They actually don't call it a test. So, 6 1/2 dozen and the other. At a kindergarten level, if you're doing like a short 3-problem review, that's probably all the testing I would want to see for a kid at that level, anyways. So, maybe just talking about who is this for? Definitely for people who are reluctant math student. Very creative, very visual, very engaging. Definitely pull a kid out of the math rut. I can actually see this,
Yeah. I think we will probably, when our learner is ready, since this is Math 1, we'll probably start using it because it's just so darn gorgeous.
Yeah, we talked a little bit earlier this week when we were talking about the mathematical reasoning that we were going to put this in as one of our morning baskets. I really anticipate, I think in the second half of the spring of 2022, that I'm going to put this book into our morning basket as kind of like a daily activity, daily exercise to do. So it feels like a full curriculum, maybe not as complete feeling as, say, a Math Mammoth or a Right Start Math or, Singapore Math with the Math Dimensions, because they just have more books and more activities and more things.
Right. There's not as many problems with this. This one might be good to pair with, pulling in. You could like write extra problems for your child to do.
Or you can get some of these kind of workbook things at like, Target or things like that.
Yeah, some Scholastic review type thing that you could maybe add as a supplement to this. I think this is teaching the core information, but you might want to add something else that gives you lots of extra practice.
Exactly, yeah. You may need to pull some additional materials in order for you to feel like you got everything. But it does feel like there's a lot in here. At the end, you're doing addition, subtraction.
Right. I mean, it's 300 pages. It's not like it's a small book.
I just think from, if somebody gets this versus say like, oh, I can go with my Singapore math and I get 6 books, you just feel like, okay, that's a lot more. And that may not be a good criticism because, that feels like it's complete when this could just be complete.
Well, and some of the exercises in something like Singapore, they would have, 5 problems on the whole page and they would be huge.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
This one's got those in smaller blocks. So I don't really know that it's more. I definitely wouldn't want to discount it just because it's a single workbook, because I think it's so engaging that I wonder if the level of engagement with it would be so much higher that you wouldn't need to repeat over and over again the same concepts, because it may really stick better with this, if that makes sense.
And I would really encourage people to get the digital version online, as just to take a look and see if it's something that might be good for you.
Right, or they have a flip through on their website too.
Or use the flip through.
I think this is 100% worth paying for.
Absolutely.
That being said, if it's not in your budget, and I think that's one of the things that families who are on a super tight budget, or have many children, so maybe you want to buy one and get some that are digital for your other kids. This is obviously, that's very generous of them to have done that.
Oh yeah,
so,
very. I would say way too generous based on the amount of work that I know went into making this.
Yeah, this is every bit worth the $25.
Absolutely.
We would absolutely pay for it. This is also really for families who have highly visual learners.
Exactly.
Since it's so engaging. The art is so pretty.
It also feels very gentle. Like it's not. Sometimes with math curriculums, it can feel very blunt.
Yeah.
It can feel very cold. This has that warmth with the artwork and the visuals. It has that kind of that warmth that I think is softened the blunt aspect of math.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. When kids are preschool, it's all fun and games, and then they get into school, and it's like, and now, boom, here's your textbooks.
Yes.
This definitely does feel like a good, gentle introduction. I think this would also, it's a gentle introduction for kids, but also for parents. I would feel as a parent super comfortable about picking this, or giving this to telling a parent who feels very uncomfortable about math. Like, this is a nice, gentle introduction to teaching math.
Absolutely. The instruction at the beginning of every lesson, I think, will help any mentor or teacher who might feel a little anxiety about teaching math. This will definitely alleviate that. They do have nice kind of mild scripting there to help ease you through the learning. So I think that's a great addition. I absolutely agree with you on that one. So who is this not for? So obviously parents who absolutely don't want to secularize any type of curriculum. They don't want to even go through that exercise. Totally understandable. So if you have those issues, this is obviously probably not for you.
Right. These are the references, that we and the regularity we found in Math 1 as they go on. There might be more. Of course, you can always get them digitally. We would say if this is something you are at all concerned about, we recommend getting the free digital download and taking a look at it and seeing if it's, if something you can deal with or not. And, if so, then you can go ahead and buy the curriculum. So that's what we would recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't know how far that goes, but at this level, which is the first grade level, we did not see very much.
Yeah, for us as a secular family, we wouldn't think twice about using this.
And we totally understand. If that's your choice, that's your choice. That's great, totally fine. We are a secular family as well, so we wouldn't gravitate to this. We were just very fortunate to actually see this, and it kind of changed my mind about the expectations of what they produce as an option. Obviously may require some secularizing if that's...
Yeah, my gut reaction is usually like,
I thought
it's not secular. That's not for us.
I expected there to be a lot more, and there wasn't. And that was what
there was a lot of opportunities where they could
absolutely have. I mean, where's the Noah reference when counting by twos? They didn't do it.
No, they did. That's what I said. The ark was counting by twos. That was the one where it was counting by twos. Yeah.
But that's an easy one to get into.
Right. That's what I said at the beginning.
Okay, yeah. Next thing, maybe not for kinesthetic learners. While there are manipulatives, they are not a lot. So if it's not like, I don't think if they would have given you a bunch of tiles and a bunch of like tally sticks and some other things, it didn't have a ton of manipulatives like a Right Start Math, but it had more than the rest of them.
Right. And the other ones don't come with manipulatives at all.
And the fact that they're doing clocks, the fact that you get a clock there as well.
And calendars. Nobody else is doing calendars.
Yep, absolutely. So that's kind of our assessment of the good and the beautiful. We went through it page by page, painstakingly, looking for very specific references, but also, reviewing the content. I would
get to know it really well.
Yeah, I really feel it's a good curriculum. I think start to finish, it would be a good one if somebody is a little price conscious. They don't care too much about doing any type of secularization. I think it's a great option if
if
those are your criteria, and also if you have a learner who, you know, loves the visuals, and if just from the standpoint of the visuals, I think they should win a few. You know, where's the homeschool award?
The visuals are just outstanding. When you look this up and you see this, it's just it really does kind of blow you away. The other thing I would say is this isn't going to be for anyone who needs to choose a secular option for your charter school or something else, right? So if because even though there are very few religious references, it does count as a religious text. So if you have some, you know, state laws, or, you know, your school requires that you purchase a secular, so just so you know that it wouldn't be probably for that either.
Absolutely.
Although
it'd be
a great supplement at home.
Yes.
I would still use this as a supplement, but
Absolutely.
just a note.
Absolutely. I totally agree. So that's The Good and the Beautiful, the brand new math curriculum.
Right.
That was
just came out this month.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was the first grade level. So do keep that in mind on what we reviewed. But it was a beautiful curriculum. We would,
we recommend it.
We recommend it. It's gorgeous. It's a great workbook, great supplemental if you have the religious concerns with your state or your reporting or your charter schools. But it's a great book. I would really highly recommend it.
I really think that they've risen the bar.
They've set the bar for
the other math curriculums should take notice.
At least from the graphics.
From like the art standpoint, that there's a new game in town. I would love to see some other curriculums. I would love to see not just math curriculums. I'd love to see other language curriculums and other things take this much care with how they look.
Exactly.
I know it's not all about that, but we make first impressions with our eyes.
Yes.
So, and we open something up and our daughter sees it and it's really visually appealing. This is books or anything. It always starts it off well. So I think that I hope other curriculum creators start thinking more along those lines and less like school at home. Some of them think as far as visual appeal, like school at home is fine. You know, it's okay. It doesn't need to be flashy, but I don't know. I think this is definitely raising the stakes on the visuals. So yeah, we highly recommend it, and we hope that you give it a chance, even as a secular family, because it's really great. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time,
happy homeschooling!